Hi, I'm Kiran Trace. I'm so glad that you're here today. We're going to have some fun. Today we're talking about parties. We're going to talk about what a freaking effort a party can be, and how for most of us, it's like horrible when we get the invitation to a party. We're going to crack open how to transform that and make that much more aligned and alive, and actually how it fits each of our avatars. So, 2025 feels like so much opportunity, everyone. Let's start in early with partying. Hi, I'm Kiran Trace. Welcome to Humans Decoded, a story of hobbits, fairies, elves, dwarfs, gnomes, and humans. If you get lost at any point, there is a deep dive on all the different avatars in episode 1. It includes notes. Thank you for joining us in a fun little chat about the vast potential of our human makeup. Hi, Cam. Hi, Leela.
Hey.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, when I heard your idea to talk about party planning, I was like, oh, no, party. The word is so loaded. It's so loaded.
Don't you know I need to be on the couch watching my shows wrapped up in a blanket? How dare you?
But it's such a fairy theme, isn't it, Cam? I mean, it must be your favorite episode ever. Come on.
Well, yeah, I can't wait to talk about ideal parties. It doesn't have to be a one size fits all. It can actually be a shape that you really love. So I think it's great that we can kind of break it down, and then, yeah, everybody gets to have what they want.
Yeah, because how fun to plan a wedding around your avatar and all your favorite things instead of that wedding map. We just here at my house, we had a party for solstice, we had a party for Christmas, we had a New Year's party, and then we had 2 birthday parties. We had every week there was a different party event, but they were so unbelievably fulfilling. They were so aligned. And what was so gorgeous is they were just so different, so alive, so of the moment, that they became unbelievably fulfilling in their own right. And fulfilling, of course, is effortless, delicious, hitting so many notes of satiation and joy, but all on their own. So certainly not by rote, not this is how we do a New Year's party, and then you count to 12 and then midnight hits, and then you make out with strangers, and it's just blah.
Hell no. No, I mean, the parties we've had, they were so nourishing even. It was so yummy. It was equally yummy as lying on my sofa, watching my shows wrapped in a blanket. And I mean, that was just showing me that a party can be so wonderful when it's born sort of the moment. And what was funny was that at first we had this New Year's idea, right, of a party that we really loved. We had so much fun with the idea. But then when it actually came to, maybe turning it into reality, it was so clear, no, it's not it. It was a fun idea. It was a good plan. But unfortunately, many of our Lala stories, not true. All of our Lala stories, not true at all.
There was so much effort. You could read the effort to try
to It's
turn into something.
We have to go there. We have to pick up this. It's ugh, no, thanks.
I wish you'd come to my birthday party, though. I mean, it was epic. It was pure celebration for 12 hours straight, but somehow not depleting. It was just so wonderful and expertly party planned by Kiran. I feel like she should have a side hustle.
I will say that it was 12 hours of pure delicious yes for me, elf, minimalist, like with not tons of robust hobbit energy. But even I had 12 hours of just pure bliss. It was so great.
Yeah. It was so wonderful.
And we already talked a little bit, or we hinted at why the word party can evoke such a in people, because it feels like so much effort. There's so many shoulds. Everybody should have fun. Everybody should have, like, there should be really good food. For sure, you have to look good. And I mean, gosh, the effort I used in the past, both as a hostess and as a guest, to party is revolting.
It's a performance. Yeah.
It was such a performance. Yeah. So much. Look at me. Look at me.
When I was younger, I used to go out partying with my older sister, who's also a fairy, and she had a rule that we had to stay until the nightclub or the bar that we were in closed. And it wasn't until I went to uni and started partying with my own friends that I realized I didn't have to stick to that rule. I didn't know it was an option. So the first time I was like, hey, I'm tired. And my friend was like, should we go home? I was like, wait, you can do that?
You're allowed?
Yeah.
As an elf, I'm super minimal. I'm super minimal with, like, I don't want to get dressed up. I want to just wear what I'm wearing. And I don't want to, take a ton of effort. But it's so funny, like what you guys are saying, like inside of that story, like your sister saying, like, you have to stay to the end. It's not a real party to her unless it's that, or it's not a real party unless everyone's in costume, or it's not a real party unless there's party food, or it's not a real this unless it's, and so then in come all these conditions. And now it's a very conditional event. And therein is we've started to embed the exhaustion, depletion, and out of alignment. It's my child's first birthday. So it's not a party unless there's balloons, there's cake, there's, and yeah, like I've never done well with those, like, unconscious expectations of what something should be. And I'm not formal, like as a host of a party. I'm just like, why don't you just come to my house and just like live here for a few hours? Help yourself to the fridge, help yourself to the laundry, have a shower if you want. Like, just, and as a guest, it's the same way. Like, I don't really accept a whole lot of invitations, in truth. Because, like, I don't want to come to your wedding when there's like your aunt and your bestie and your drunk uncle. And like, I don't know what is expected of me. And it's such a weird collection of people that don't really belong in the same room together. Like, it's just like, there's so much awkwardness in all of these events. So I don't go.
Is it an elf thing that we're not formal? Could be. Because the other day I had a guest for dinner. I invited somebody with another friend of mine. And for me, inviting somebody for a dinner is just like, come to my house. Here's a plate of food. We chat for, I don't know, maybe an hour, and then you go. Like, it's very minimal. There's not much happening, actually. But then for this other friend, it was like, he was looking for a more formal plan of this evening. And it was confusing to me. It was weird. It was like, I don't know what you're saying when you ask me for a 3-course meal.
I think that's the thing. Like, there's so much focus on, like, it becoming something. And the becoming is this pressure. So let's take like your birthday, like deep in our psyche, there's some idea that it should be very special. And for some people, that's like always this dashed hope, like, because it never is. It turns out it's just a day. And for other people, it's like, I deeply want it to be special, but at the same time, I can't take the rejection of it. Like, I can't take the exposure of it. I just want to avoid it. Just wait for the day to be over. Or I deeply want to be surprised, or I certainly hope I'm not surprised. And it's just pressure coming in and pressure coming out, because there's these like deep internal workings of specialness, whether you want to avoid it or you want to have it, and that's what this whole thing is. This day is gonna become special. And so this is all, I'm gonna pump all this energy into it and then make this special, And I think that's so funny. like sidebar. Like, I often tell stories. Like, I find myself all the time telling stories about a party or an event that I attended. And it was hosted by a loved one who dearly loves their person. And they put this party together, and it is literally that person's worst nightmare. And I run into it all the time. And I think you decoders must run into it all the time also. It's like, whatever, it's the retirement party or the birthday party. And it is like, man, if you said to this person whose birthday it is, what is the worst the things you would hate the most? And we put that all together. We call it your birthday. Like, that's what happens all the time. Aww. Even though they really love the person and they're putting this party on, and it's like, great, come on into your worst nightmare event.
I mean, I literally said I'm allergic to birthday parties previous to this one, because I think my only experience of parties was probably the ones planned around me growing up, which were just so full of agenda and pressure. And I would actually include my own wedding in that. It was just like a walk through compromise for absolutely everyone involved. So
yeah, your wedding, your worst nightmare, come alive. Because that's it.
Definitely my drunk uncle.
Yeah, exactly. I had to make sure my drunk uncle got this, and my mother got that, and my sister gets this, and it has to be on this day for those people. And it's just compromise city.
And the weird thing is, everyone was forgotten about in this wild effort to kind of include everyone. Like, I don't think anybody actually really felt met. It was a strange day.
But so then what is it to party not from compromise, to party from truth, to party from being? It's like the experiences we've had recently with each other is, I mean, planning did happen. It's not like there's no plan. There's no, I don't know, thinking about or feeling into what is fun, but it doesn't feel like this, what I've been used to, this I have to do something here. It's on me. And it's not just something, it's I have to do a lot. I'm probably the one who has to cook all the food, provide all the drinks, probably like craft the decoration.
Yeah. Divine the theme, invite all the people.
Yeah. And it must be a costume party. Otherwise, it's not a party. I like that point. It's so true. But to sort of, what is it? This beautiful high art, sophisticated art of partying from being. It's like very, very delicious, spacious, effortless, nourishing.
Yeah, totally. It's so fun to talk about, like, so how do you shape something from pure delicious yes? Like, and it starts with, like, you don't plan unless it's delicious is where it starts. And then the actual planning can just come up underfoot, and it can have this like aliveness to it. And so, for instance, we were putting together this fairy party for Cami. It was just listening for the moment, and then suddenly it was delicious to plan. And the planning itself became a party, like a mini party.
Sorry, exactly. Like, it just dawns on me now as we're talking about it, this truth that it's not a preparation. The party planning isn't the prep for the party. It's in itself already it. You know, like this moment, I think somebody once said that, one of your students, Kiran, this moment isn't a preparation for the next one. So the party planning isn't the planning for the party. It's already it. And as I'm saying this, it's like, what? Cool.
Yeah. Like, so how do you make, is the moment alive for a plan?
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to like put the plan on top of the moment. And so it was just really, really, really sweet. We had this little mini date, and Zoe, who's been on this podcast before, she's a hobbit, an accountant, and she and I headed off. And we had a whole date. I mean, we went for this lunch at this fabulous new place we wanted to try. We partied. We went to these super fun little shops, and we laughed and we laughed and we laughed as we bought all these little things that were perfect for our girl. And it was just like, in itself was the movement. And it wasn't like, oh, I'm exhausted at the end of the day, so now I have to go do this. It was like, no, if I'm exhausted at the end of the day, then what am I doing? I'm napping. It's not alive to plan. Like, it's not, like, it's just not. And you have this faith, this open faith that the moment will arrive. And for us, like, because at that point, this was like our 2, 3, it was like the 4th party in the 4th week. And so it wasn't like this, it'd be awful to just like drag the mission forward, like, okay, let's go again. Gladiators for partying, like it was just this sweet little date, and we just laughed and had so much fun. It was so fun it was so fun to play in the world, touching and smelling the things that our person would love. Like, it's so fun.
You're almost giving me FOMO for not being present for that bit.
Yeah, it was sensational. So yeah, it was sensational.
But yeah, one of your other students also beautifully coined the phrase "delicious yes" has grandbabies. And I feel like I was the receptor of that, like, beautiful, delicious yes flow of the planning, because the day itself was just so alive. And it felt so tailored to me, a fairy. And what really kind of surprised and touched me was that even though we were kind of partying fairy style, somehow everybody was like relishing in it. Like, nobody was depleted by it. And the day took such a beautiful shape, which, if you'll indulge me, I'll share the details.
Please do.
We started with, and also this was like all surprise to me. Like, I knew there was a party coming. And I had said to Kiran, I'm allergic to birthdays. And she's like, don't worry, we'll retemplate that. So I woke up to this amazing brunch, which was decked out with decorations, flowers everywhere, lots of pink stuff. Like, my seat was decked out with accessories. So I had a tiara, a birthday pin, candy, like bracelets, it was just such a dream, and like little unicorns and just so many heart-shaped pink things. And then we had a cupcake decorating station. So I got to do some frosting, decorating the cupcakes with icing. Then we had a picnic. We went out to the beach and we had this like delicious lunch on the beach, and people swam. We just sort of sat like soaking in the sea. Then we had a nap. We all came home for a nap, which was, pretty essential. I think it should be part of every party. And then in the evening, we had a dance party. So we had a piñata out in the garage. I smacked that thing and it gave me all the treats. And I have this like amazing basket of just like pure candy, like pure chemical candy, which I've been like munching on ever since.
But there was like markers, and there was also like little toys and things in it for everybody.
It was so beautiful. And also, just like all this kind of unicorn theme stuff. And then we all broke out into dance for like an hour. Like we actually got like a really good sweat, like a proper like high suitable for a fairy like dance music, like doom doom doom.
There was moments that it was like contact dance, and there was moments that we were like doing like group swing dance, and there was like the end of it, we had like the garage doors open, and we were, can't remember if the moon was out, but we were just sort of like in this like bliss of like just bliss dance. Oneness.
Sweaty bliss dance.
It was so good.
And then we had this amazing nacho bar for dinner, and we had, you know, part of the fairy template. We had this like amazing collapse together. So we just watched one of my favorite movies, Chef, which is also such a party, like full of salsa music and joy. And we just, sat in front of the couch and watched that. And it was just like such a high, but without a come down, like just this really beautiful, nourishing day. And it's kind of restored my faith in partying or like planned parties, you know?
Yay!
Yeah, thank you.
And you know, the next week up next, we had a Hobbit birthday. And it was so funny because the Hobbit was like, I want this. This is so good. Give me this. But I was smart enough to see through that. La. Didn't believe it at all. And for a Hobbit, you know, it's bringing it way, way down and turning it into lots of one-on-one moments. Like not so much the group movement, but these little one-on-one ones. You know, making a better shape for the way that hobbits move, slower. And so that was, you know, instead of a big group brunch, it was like one best friend crawls into bed and they watch a movie. And, you know, breakfast gets delivered and it's their favorite, you know, like it's waffles, you know, like it's hobbity bready things, you know, like, and it's winter. So there's a fire on, it's like a fire on and snuggles and a sweet movie and waffles, you know, like that's the Hobbit version, you know, and moving through the day like that. But, you know, it's when we're breathing party, you know, like when we're just like allowing it to arise out of delicious moment, there's a lot of flexibility for it. And for our Hobbit birthday, life came in and had a different story for the day, which is totally fine. Because life comes in when we have too tight a plan, like for your wedding or for whatever, life is going to fuck with it, you know, like, so that's the one more reason not to have the plan, but to have this, like, you know, if all you've had is these sweet mini parties in preparation for the event, when the actual event arrives, it's going to be in a sweet alignment and it's going to be like very open-handed with whatever happens. So,
Yeah. The very open-handed party planning. And I mean, I'm just remembering now as we're talking how delicious these super spontaneous sort of birthday days can arise. Like, remember, we've had evenings where we sat on the couch, the three of us, and we kind of look at each other and it's like, and I would go like, oh, I think today was my birthday, because all my favorite things would just happen. It wasn't planned, but life was just, you know, putting them out there for me, for us.
We had a solstice like that too, and Christmas like that.
True.
Where there was like a desire, like knowing like, oh, these are favorite things, but without this me pushing them or trying to make a day become them, life just swelled up under us. And then this magic happened. It was just like in the same sort of thing. It was like at the end of the day, you're just like, wow, like all these things in one day that were my absolute favorite. And I didn't air quote, do them, make them, become them. It rose up and we accepted the opportunity and played in, and that's a big difference, right? Because some of us have our lives so deeply planned. There's no opportunity when life swells up with your desire, brings it forward. You're just like, I know I asked for that, but could you come back later? Because I have to take the kids to school. I know I really asked for that, but Sunday's the days I clean the house.
Inconvenient right now.
It's super inconvenient. And sure, my husband's here and he'd be happy to clean the house, but I clean the house. So come back. Could you swill that opportunity next Tuesday, I think.
That's the open-handedness. That's the flexibility right there, isn't it? Like the openness to the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why we wanted to have this podcast is 2025 is blowing so much opportunity at us. And our heads go, yay. When an opportunity arrives, I'm just going to jump on that boat. No. In reality, the opportunity arises and every part of us runs. We get terrified or shame or fear of abandonment, and we run in the other direction. And, this podcast is really always this invitation every week, like to play in and let life rise up under you and, have faith in that. And, if it's a big event, if it's your wedding, if it's your anniversary, if it's a really important birthday to you or to your loved one, all the more reason to have faith that the moments will collide for the perfect opportunities.
There's one more sidebar popping up in my head, if I'm allowed. Like sometimes I really enjoy playing birthday with loved ones who aren't, in our community, who don't practice delicious yes necessarily. But to present somebody with let's just play birthday for a day or a weekend even, it's such a sweet way to get a sense of that opportunity life has for you in every moment.
It's such a great invitation to invite someone to savor life.
Yes, exactly.
Like drop the fight for a second.
Yeah.
And notice this fun.
Yeah. So ultimately, what we're saying in the party planning episode is you get to release all the shoulds and just do what you want, what your being wants, not what your head thinks it wants. And then go about it open-handedly with all of your friends, all of your loved ones, if you want that.
And I think what you mean by do what you want, it's about the delicious desires of a being is what the definition of want is versus, most people have a very different definition of the word want. So
true.
What we mean is follow that delicious, alive desire in your being. Or look around and notice that life is providing opportunities for it. And I know it's terrifying to imagine dropping the control enough to just notice that. And then even more terrifying to step out on that. But, the terror is always there anyway. So why not just go have fun? It's not like control stops terror.
So we would love to hear from you, decoders, what your perfect party would be, what your perfect food or favorite activity to do with your loved ones. We would just absolutely love to hear how a party could fit a really delicious shape for you. So let us know by emailing us or on the Facebook group.
Yeah, and just include you guys like what activity. An activity can be alone. It could be a party that's like I'm in bed reading my favorite book by myself with a fire, with my dog and my favorite socks And I have food delivery service every 4 hours, and these are the meals. Like, that's gorgeous. You know, somebody else, you might be like, oh, I love to just spend 2 whole days walking in the woods, you know, and somebody else carries my pack and the camp is set up for me already ahead of me on the trail. And I just arrived to a fire and a steaming cup of tea, you know, like nettle tea, like taking the time to feel through your joy without putting stoppers on what it should be or what the definition of party is. And it's a perfect opportunity to join us in the Facebook group. There's lots of conversation, and then you'll be able to take notes for like your favorite person. Someone else might have outlined a perfect party for them. So come in and join the group if you haven't joined it before, and let us know all the details. We want to read all these party ideas.
That's so sweet. That's so sweet.
Okay, we'll talk to you next week. Love you.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. We obviously love hearing what you think. Your feedback helps us make a better show for you to listen to. So feel free to comment, and you can do it at Facebook, which is the Humans Decoded podcast. And if you're not on social, you can always email any questions to us at outreach@kirantrace.com. And thanks for listening. We love you.